Well, that's unfortunate. Give me 1 second. Let me make sure we good to go before all hell breaks loose. I don't think I need to put this in. I'll just hear it right here. Are we good?
I'll just hear it, right?
Yeah, we're good. Cool. Now that we're all set in stone, we are good to take off. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? It's been a minute. It's been a while. Hope you guys didn't miss me. Hope you guys are doing all well. Yeah, I will say the week back to back weeks of doing the streams, especially when news is pretty dead. I'm not gonna keep boring y'all. I'm actually gonna bring you guys some sort of information that you can go ahead and take away with. So I will definitely say, as things, if the news and stuff in real estate really starts to pick up, just best believe I'm gonna be here. But you know where to find me. 7 p.m. on the dot. Just not every other week. Well, just not every week now. But I'm sure that's gonna change. It's just a matter of right now. We are here with the. I did it too soon. I did it too soon. But yeah, let's do another one. Let's rock things out though. I was actually I just came across some information. And I was just like, well, I'm gonna bring this to your attention now because I think it's very important that you all hear this. It was an article that I guess the news outlets just put out. How three corporations, I'll tell you the name of these corporations right now, actually. Their names are Progress Residential, Invitation Homes, and Main Street Renewals. So there's this, you probably can find it on the web somewhere, but supposedly those three companies own majority. I wouldn't say majority, but they're owning a lot of real estate in Atlanta, unfortunately. I forgot what counties they mentioned specifically, but I didn't hear Fulton, so I doubt they're gonna go into the deep city in the aspect of it, things because of the prices of things in those areas. But be cautious. Yes, I understand real estate is not probably where you want it to be in terms of price point, but when you have these big institutional buyers, I want to say something else, but when you have these big institutional buyers playing the game that we're all trying to play, and again, most people are trying to play with just, hey, let me just buy a home to put a roof over my head and have stability and have a place where maybe your kids, your dog, your cat, wherever they can just kind of be there. When that, I think, is slowly being taken away just by these corporations, they're now trying to play the real estate game, and they play it at a much higher level than many other individuals play it at. I definitely would caution you all, take things a little bit seriously now. I know things may not be look like it's in your favor at this current moment, but now more than ever, man, this is just another like drop in the bucket as far as how important it is, in my personal opinion, to really be intentional. You don't have to get yourself ready to purchase tomorrow, next year, next 3 years, but just be ready. Because I think once you're ready, then you can make a decision on if you really want to pursue that or not. But if you don't do anything and then that moment just, that opportunity is there and you're just not ready for it, I mean, you're just going to have a rude awakening. Because that's essentially what we're going to talk about today. I mean, there is more homes on the market, more now than there ever have been, and of course that's gonna boil down to specific areas. Not every place is having inventory just skyrocket off the roof. So, but now more than ever, there's more inventory. At least in the past 5 years, prices, of course, I understand, may not be where you want it to be. Same goes for mortgage rates. There's workarounds it, and if you don't want to work around it, then just be a little bit patient. Just know you might have to be a little bit patient for a little bit longer than you even want to. So really understand that aspect of it. But as you guys can see, man, there's more homes, but fewer buyers in sight. And I think the fewer buyers in sight comes from, I'm just gonna say, like, just lack of awareness, lack of knowledge of what you can actually do, how you can actually get into it. Because again, the media is gonna own a lot of what most people consume or what most people hear and what most people talk about. Right. This is why I do what I do right now. Especially the fact that the media just puts fear mongering information in. I mean, honestly, a lot of the stuff you even see now on YouTube is very fear mongering as well, which is unfortunate because that's the stuff you all like to see and read. But let's go ahead and kick things off. I just want y'all to all really know this stream here today is gonna inform you. Yes, things are not where they probably where you want it to be, but there is strategies, there is things in place. So if at this point in time you have any questions, you have concerns, you want to give me a specific scenario of your friend or yourself, whatever the case is, this just drop it in the chat and we will definitely get to it. And if you're on the replay, just hashtag replay. Let me know you tapped in to get this good old information. And also, before I really kick things off, let me know where y'all tapping in from because you give me that information and I'll know exactly what kind of information I should be searching for to be able to provide to you so that we can really talk about your market specifically. Because as you guys may know, I'm not in every market. I am right now just in North Carolina. So I don't cover every market. But if you want me to talk about your market, you want me to cover your market, you want me to give you some details, some insights, some strategies, whatever the case may be about your market, drop it in the chat so I know, and then I can go ahead and give you that information. But let's just look at this forecast again. The most recent forecast that you guys probably all saw or heard about was Zillow, and they literally reversed their entire forecast, meaning what they anticipated a complete fail. Let's just put it like that. Let me zoom in so y'all can see this. So let's see what they anticipate for happening with mortgage rates. So you can see mortgage rates look like they're going to be pretty stable. So everyone hoping for those 3% mortgage rates. I'm sorry, but so I'm going to be the one to break it to you. But yeah, I don't think they're going to come back. If they come back, I think we'll all be dead. Whoever's watching this, unless if you're like literally born yesterday. And this is just my opinions only. But you can see here, it's all going to range in the sixes, mid sixes. So that, my personal opinion, is the new real reality. Sorry to break it to you. Inventory will continue to grow. And this piece right here is very important because when inventory grows, what happens is prices typically, they should, right? And I'll put that in quotation, they should come down because there's more options. And if a seller really needs to sell a home, what's going to happen is they're going to need to make sure that they can attract the buyer before their competition attracts the buyer. All right, it's simple supply and demand at this point in time. If you took economics in school, then yeah, this should ring a bell. But if you didn't, whenever supply goes up, just expect prices to go down. But right now, it's literally supply is up, demand is down, so prices could really do some. It could come down. As far as how much, I'm not a genie. Don't ask me a question like that. We shall wait and see. Or you can go and look to see what somebody else made a projection because I'm sure you'll find projections everywhere. And then next thing you know, 3 months later, they're gonna revise their projection. But I'm not about to do that. But inventory is growing. However, inventory is growing only in specific markets. I'll actually show you a nice, pretty picture that can help you understand how much is inventory actually growing. And so if you could see this white line right here, that's actually that's just for 2025, right? And so that line in red is 2020. The green line is 2024. This blue line right here where my cursor is 2023. That yellow line is 2022. And then the orange is 2021. So you can see we are literally above, at this point in time, right? We're above 2020 levels, which the last time that was 2024, but that was all the way in June. So we're above it a little bit sooner. And buyers are saying, I ain't taking part in this. But this is just for active listing stuff. If a home is actively on the market, this is exactly what it really looks like in terms of how many homes is on the market. But it's really going to depend on your market. Again, if you want me to look specifically in your market about what your inventory looks like, then just let me know in the comments and I could go ahead and provide that to you. What they're saying about, oh, see, look at that. They actually gave us the information about Zillow. So Zillow, I think, had it at like 2 point something, 2.8% of a gain. Now they're revising it down. So you can kind of see. Although what I even said earlier, right? If inventory grows, then prices should come down a little bit. So these numbers could be even lower. It all depends on what's going on in your local market, but nationally looking, we let's just take the average of all 7, just like they did right here, is 2.3 that you can anticipate prices to increase. So keep that in mind. You continue to wait, you just continue to, even if price right now is even a big issue, seems like price is going to continuously be an issue, because if prices continue to go up, then that doesn't necessarily help you or your situation at all. I can provide you what to do, but shoot, with the way that these prices are going up and incomes aren't reflecting or doing the same, it just looks bad. It really does. It makes me really wonder, like, if real estate is actually going to have some sort of correction. How big of a correction are we talking? Because the amount of like pieces that are supposed to be going together are not aligning right now. It's quite scary, to the point where, yeah, if you guys didn't see this, right? April home sales. Let me zoom in. Side note, these things right here, I've low-key been addicted to them. They're Italian ices. If you don't know about them, now you know. Just know. I put you onto it. So once you get it, you get addicted. I'm sorry, and I apologize. I had a client of mine. Sorry for the rant, but I had a client of mine actually introduced me to these, and ever since, it's been a wrap. I've no longer bought those dollar store icicles ever again. This is where it's at. But yes, April home sales have dropped since, and that's the lowest. That's the slowest pace for that month, specifically for the month of April, since 2009. I don't remember. So the question: when did I need to figure that out right now, because that would be actually a good question. When did 2008 really go gangbusters? When did the housing market in 2008? Because that will then help understand, the slowest pace as of April of 2009. When did housing? I think it was like more of the fall in April. Well, not the fall. Yeah, I think it was the fall. It peaked in 2006. I understand that. Accelerated through 27, 07. Steepest in 08. When did it start in 08 though? Early to mid of 06. No. Okay, by the fall, like I mentioned. Okay, so it was fall of 08. Okay. So at this point in time, things already went haywire for 2008 for sales to be really slow, which in 2008 it makes sense, but now it's like, why are sales slow? Isn't that the question we all, not maybe we all want to know, but at least I do. But that's what I have there. I mean, we can go through the article entirely, but they're not going to say anything that we haven't discussed already in the past, or even what we just discussed. I think the only thing that I would really want to point out to you is, so this right here. Let me zoom in. All right, so there were 1.45 million homes for sale at the end of April, which at the current sales pace represents a 4.4 monthly supply. And the reason I bring that up is because a balanced market is 6, right? 6 months of inventory essentially. So we're still below that. I wouldn't even say. I think pre-20. I think pre-COVID already was below, but we're not in that balanced market as a nation as a whole. All right, that can always, of course, change, but I mean, it says it right here, right? That is the highest level in 5 years, but still below the 6 month supply, which is considered a balanced market. 1 year ago, this was at, well, no, 1 year ago, there was a 3.5 month supply. So I'm not gonna go through the article entirely because I think that's enough information about that. It's just really gonna talk about inventory, which you guys know. Inventory is going up. That's good for you as a buyer. I'm gonna keep reiterating the things that I really want you to hear. Because if you don't want to hear it from me, you got to hear it from somewhere. Because now, there we go. People are also canceling, right? Right. Less and less buyers, especially if you're shopping at this current time. It's good for you. Don't let this stuff freak you out, especially if you're ready, you're locked and loaded. Oh yeah, talking about locked and loaded. You know what's coming. If you're ready like that, this stuff is good for you, right? Because home sales cancellations surge to near high record highs means a lot of people are just not in the market, right? Especially your competition as a buyer, they're not there, which means you could start up some deals, some opportunities that many people are just going to simply miss out on because honestly speaking, not just do that to me. Let's repeat this. Honestly speaking, a lot of people are waiting for prices to come towards. I don't even think people are waiting for prices to come to pre-2020 levels because just ask anyone that's in the market right now, at what price will they be willing to buy a house? Right? They're just going to throw you a number that works for them. They're not going to throw a number that necessarily was pre-2020. Right? They're just going to throw a number out there that works best for them. And in that sense, that's phenomenal, right? Do what works best for you. Don't stretch your budget out and hurt yourself even more. But the thing is this, if you don't know what prices were before 2020, how would you know that this is a good opportunity? You won't. You're just going to simply follow the rest of the crowd, which I'm trying to encourage you guys, do not follow the rest of the crowd because when you follow them, you get trapped in it. And what happens literally, this is what's going to happen. If prices come down, I'm going to paint this vision for you, right? You can write this down, clip this up, do whatever you got to do. But this is exactly what's going to happen. If prices come down significantly, if more, which probably is going to mean mortgage rates are going to come down as well, it's only going to bring a ton of buyers into the field. And then now you have competition. Do you guys remember what happened in 2020 when everyone was trying to buy a house and every house was getting multiple bids within a weekend? Yeah, that same exact thing can occur. I'm not saying it will. It can occur, especially if you wait for that moment to arise where prices again come down, or I mean, both of them. If prices come down or mortgage rates come down, that same phenomenon is going to happen. One or the other. This not. I can't even say one or the other because right now prices are coming down, and many people aren't even moving, which hence the title of this stream, right? So really, if mortgage rates and prices come down, just expect to you have to be competitive at that point in time. And if you don't want to beat the crowd, you want to protect yourself a little bit more, you are free to do so. Just don't say I didn't warn you. But I would highly go back, watch it later, and just remember when prices and mortgage rates, well, when prices come down or prices are stagnant and mortgage rates come down, there's just more people that are going to be able and are willing to, take a house at that bargain or whatever the interest rate is. That's just what happens in real estate, honestly. Let's throw this back up here. Man, this is slow today. But when you see home cancellations that high, that could mean a lot of different things, right? People are just either backing out for whatever reason. Also, something I did mention, if prices do come down significantly, this is also the other risk, right, that you run. If prices come down significantly, mortgage rates do come down as well. There's a possibility there will be layoffs as well, job layoffs as well. So make sure your job is secure, especially if you're trying to get a home. Make those connections, make yourself a little bit more valuable than your peers. That way, if things like that do occur, then you're at least protected and you can still proceed and take advantage of the opportunity, right? What do they say? When there's blood in the streets, then you go ahead and really do what you have to do. But yes, more homes for sale is not a warning sign. Although many of you may think, I'm just going to sit the sidelines and wait. That's a good strategy. Let's just hope everything's intact later. That's the picture I showed you already earlier. This is what can cause issues, right, in the real estate market, or at least in the economy, and not even in the real estate, in the economy as a whole. Right? If this number just continues to increase in the negative way, then it doesn't look good for everybody. Honestly, not just real estate. It doesn't look good for anyone. And I think I was supposed to talk about this, but since I just saw it, I talked about this in a video that actually is about to come out. There's about 4 million homes that are missing right now. And when I say missing, 4 million homes that need to be provided in the market for the United States to be in the so-called balanced market. The way that these builders are moving right now, let's just say they're providing the inventory, but they do not care how long it's going to take them. Right? They're well aware that they're holding. I gotta watch. I gotta watch the things I'm about to say. They're holding the key right now. Let's just put it like that. They're holding the key and they understand it. They're aware to the point where they're not moving as quickly as I think we all would like. Because if they provide us with more inventory, what's going to happen? It should bring prices down, more competition. But again, they're not going to do that because that hurts their bottom line. Again, we live in America, so everyone's all about the profit making, making sure that the dollars is right. That's why I believe you could see it here, or maybe you can because I didn't zoom in. It states right here, it would take up to 7.5 years to close the housing gap. There's actually an article you can look on realtor.com. You can search it up. I mean, if you type in, it would take 7.5 years to close the housing gap. You should be able to find that article. But do you really want to wait for a market to be balanced, right? I forgot who left the comment. I think I'll touch upon that comment later. But don't wait 7.5 years for a housing market to be balanced because we're talking 7.5 years of potential growth or just stagnant, whatever it is in terms of prices. That's even scarier, right? Because where we're at right now, it's not even favorable. So, I mean, if you think in 7.5 years things will still be favorable, please let me know what you know or what do you see because I'm extremely curious. Actually, just do me a favor and drop it in the comments. Let me know what is it that you see that this housing market is going to end up or going, right? And again, our friend, I forgot his name, but he left. He did leave me a comment and say, "Hey, we're very similar to what's going on in 19. I think he said 1918 to like the 1930s." And I can agree to a certain extent. I mean, when we have very very high tech in comparison to what was there last that during that time frame, it's a little bit different. We move, and when I say we move, the economy moves a little bit differently and quicker than what was occurring back then, especially the tools and technology we have nowadays. It's pretty amazing. But let's go ahead and see what days on market is. And while we're here, we can definitely take a look to see where are the top 10 metros in the United States with the fastest growing sales price, right? So this is something that you guys can always take a look at. This right here consistently changes. So whatever you see here today, of course, if I zoom in, you can see it better. So whatever you see here today is not going to be here probably next month or next 3 months, whatever the case is. But here are some markets. We have Miami Beach, Birmingham, Alabama, Baltimore, Maryland, Montgomery, Alabama, Wichita, Kansas, Arlington, Virginia, Cincinnati, Ohio, Columbus, Georgia, Fayetteville, North Carolina, Washington, D.C. All right, so these places growing in prices, I can't even say they're all affordable because Miami Beach, I know for a fact, it's not affordable. That's Miami Beach is whew. Miami Beach is for the people that got money. But I really want to show you days on market. Did I pass it? I might have. I'll come back to the most competitive. Where's my days on market? Here it is. How come I couldn't see it before? Interesting. So approximately across the entire United States, it's 40 days out on average on the market before a home is sold. Essentially what this means. So if you're on the market now, again, understand your local market before you take this verbatim. You have about, let's just say, a month to make a decision on if you're going to move forward with the house or not. This is essentially what it's saying. And if this number comes down, that means there's more buyers out there, which is quite interesting, right? They said fewer buyers, but, well, I guess that makes sense. Days on market should be going up, though, if there's fewer buyers, because homes will stay on the market longer. Just me ranting at this point, trying to make sense of all this. But let's just say you're on the market right now. Just know you have about 30 days to make a decision. If you come across a house and you're like, that's the one, it's it. You got 30 days to make a decision. But again, look in your market, the market that you're looking in verbatim. Well, look in your market specifically because this here is talking about the United States as a whole, not looking at specific markets. If you want me to look at a specific market, as I mentioned earlier, just be sure to drop it in the comments and I could do a little bit more intentional deep dives into that specific market. Or if you want to even take it a step further, I mean, you can always reach out to my website. Well, you can always go to the description, click my link, click the link in the description where it says agent referral, I believe it says. And once you go to my website, just make sure you press on let's chat or contact. Just send me a message of, or at least just fill out the form entirely. That way I would get the message or the email of what it is that's exactly you need help with. And in that case, I'll connect you to a local real estate agent that will look out for you, take care of you, give you the information. I'm vetting these individuals, right? So I understand the questions to ask and to make sure that, they give you the quality of service that I think I would even give to anybody that I'm working with. So with that being said, let me go ahead and pull that back up so we can go ahead and check out what are the top 10 most competitive cities. Right, and I think this could be helpful information because if you're in one of these cities, that means chances are y'all are experiencing multiple bids, or at least homes are not in the market as long as 40 days in these specific markets. So Seattle, Washington, Tacoma, Washington, San Fran, Anchorage. Yeah, I think. What's AK? Is that Arkansas? Well, my geography is showing right now. I don't know what AK is. I want to say Arkansas. We got Richmond, Virginia, Arvada, Colorado, Sacramento, Alexandria, Arlington, and Oakland. So Coolio. All right. Again, you guys can find this information. You don't have to wait for me to provide you with this stuff. If you ever feel compelled, just go to Redfin. Or you can just Google Redfin U.S. housing market. Should be the very first link. But this is a good question right here, right? We're talking about it. I'm curious. What do you think? More listings, fewer closings. Is this the shift that everyone's been waiting for? Only time will tell. This article here kind of sums up everything we talked about. It doesn't really answer this question, which I didn't really like. All right. But I think it's a good question to really think about. Is the shift here? personally speaking, if the shift is actually here, I think it's like a mild shift, right? It's like the kind of the shift. I don't know if you guys remember towards, I want to say the middle of 2020, where prices kind of took a dip. It was a lot of people on the sidelines still. I think that's the kind of shift that we're experiencing now, right? It's not going to be loud. It's and even the dip that happened in the stock market, right? In 22. It's I think is that kind of, if we're having any sort of shift right now, it's like a shift like that, right? We just had in April, we had the stock market come down, right? But it recovered pretty quickly. Real estate, it may follow, right? But like I said, I this is just my thoughts and my opinion. I think if there's any sort of shift, it's going to be a shift very similar to 22, where it was very mild, really undercover. Not many people knew what was even happening. I mean, it's just that's just what it is, man. That is just what it is. If you don't like it, darn it, I don't know what to tell you. Because where are conditions improving? So this is an entirely new article. It's not the same one. This here, let me show it to you just in case if you want to go ahead and take a look at it yourself. But where are the conditions improving? So, and it looks like Midwest, right? Iowa, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, West Virginia. That West Virginia is interesting. I learned something recent about Virginia and how they do taxes, property taxes specifically. I don't know if West Virginia is one of them or if it was actually Virginia, but I know for a fact it was Virginia in it. And I was like, man, that is not favorable at all. Just know, I know it was a person that was had I think 3 vehicles. I think he was paying like 30 grand for them in just taxes. I was like, what in HELL? Oh, brother. But though here's some of the places where our conditions improving, states that are closest to a balanced market. In fact, I can pull up an actual picture to let you know which markets if this wants to work. All right, am I back? I am back. I am back. I am back. Sorry about that, but yes, I'm gonna try to find that photo of where I can show you what markets specifically are improving in terms of inventory. Because I told you, right? Just and I'd be kind of going against my own word, right? I told you make sure you understand what's going on in your local market first and foremost, because the information that we're touching upon is nationally, but locally, real estate is very, very, very hyper local. So what's going on as a whole in the United States may not be exactly what's going on in your local market or the market that you're looking in. So understand that. But here are the states closest to a balanced market. And then there's one where here are the states with, let me go ahead and zoom in. Here are the states with the most significant improvements. And these improvements may be good or bad, right? They're not really stating it here. But when I see Colorado on there, I think it's bad because I know Colorado is having a ton of inventory. Maybe it is inventory that they're referring to. I know Colorado is a ton of inventory. In fact, I know someone who's trying to sell their home right now. And I mean, we're talking, there's buyers still out there, but the buyers are very few. Hence the title. Oh, brother. That was not intentional, by the way. But Delaware, Utah, Florida, Arizona, it sounds like all places that built a lot of homes for new construction and are really, I don't know so much about Delaware, but are now dealing with the repercussions. And so states with the largest shortfalls of affordable listings. So that's pretty helpful information, right? Montana, Idaho, California, Massachusetts, Hawaii. I think Hawaii is always going to be on this list. Where's New York? That's another place. Come on now. Stop trying to play with people. We know for a fact New York don't got no affordable stuff. Man, please. I'm very shocked that Montana, Idaho are up here and New York isn't. Very shocked. But that's all that I really wanted to show you on this one. But because I did say I'll show you this pretty nice little picture, here it is. So this is as of last month. I think I should have updated. I could have the updated one here shortly because we are approaching the end of May. But if you really want to know what states are, oh wow, Idaho is up here. I need to pull that article back down. We about to get to the money portion already. Uh, Give me 1 second because I see Idaho on this again, and I know we just saw Idaho. Okay, states with the largest shortfalls of affordable homes, and Idaho is on this list. And they have a lot of inventory too. Where's Montana? Montana's not on there. California is not there. Massachusetts is not here. And when I'm looking at this, I'm really paying attention to this green, whatever's in the green. Because whatever's in the green means that there is more inventory than there was prior to the pandemic. So that just means more options. You can go house shopping a little bit longer and, really take your time, and hopefully that home is really out there that you do come across. But this is what those states that are pre-pandemic, at least inventories at pre-pandemic levels, this is what it looks like. If this state is not on that list right here in that green box, which I could zoom in just so if you guys really want to see it. If your state that you're looking is not in the green box, chances are it still has pretty low inventory. Not tremendously low, but it's still pretty low as far as a balanced market, making that reference. So there's that. But let's go ahead and move not to this yet because there's also a tax bill going around that I want to discuss real quick. I'm not going to hold on. I'm not going to touch upon this too much because I think this piece here, it is quite important because if you're all looking to get into real estate or already in real estate, then you want to know what is going on with the tax bill. I think President Trump calls it the beautiful bill or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but this bill is currently in the works. Not passed yet. I think it just went through the House. Don't quote me on it. I believe the Senate has to, either the Senate or the House, whoever has to view it. It's one more um it's one more party or whatever system that has to overlook it before confirming exactly if this bill is good enough to be pushed out to the world or not, or at least to the United States or not. However, there was a few things that I did see on it that I do want to bring to your attention. First, there's a MAGA accounts for down payments. So if this actually occurs, this is going to help not you right now. It's more or less going to help generations to come purchase homes or at least save money, right? It's another account essentially that's going to help individuals. I don't know if it's going to be pre-tax dollars. I'm not sure if it's going to be pre-tax. Again, this is all still conversations, right? So there's a lot that can change, will change, probably won't change. I don't know. We'll figure out as we get more information and progression, and I can let you know on there. But that account in itself, they call it the MAGA accounts for down payments, right? That will help a lot of the generations to come to purchase home if parents today really set up this account for their children. That's about it. Also, mortgage interest deductions is still going to be a thing. If you're not aware, whenever you do purchase a home, the first 5 years sucks of home ownership because you're paying more interest than it makes even then you're paying more interest than it even makes sense. Let's just put it like that, right? So whenever you're looking at your bill, you'll see like you're paying like maybe 90, I would say 80 to 90% of it is going to interest, and then the rest is going to your escrow account and the principal. So it's like pennies to the principal. But after year 5, mostly after year 7, that's when you really start making real dents into the principal in itself, which is going to ultimately lead you to paying that off that house. But most people don't even wait that long to stay in a house. Most people move after 10 years. So it's like you spent 5 to 7 years paying interest, and then hopefully that home gains some equity, and now you can sell it for a little bit more. But anyways, mortgage interest deduction is going to still be a thing. So if you're paying interest, you can hopefully get a tax write-off. Consult with your tax professional on anything of that nature, on how you can go ahead and do that. And then there was a higher standard deduction, which that's gonna help individuals get a home, because if there's a higher standard deduction, it should be a little bit. It should help with saving, right? It should help with saving for the down payment or even closing costs or whatever it is that you need to get the home under contract. And then that was really it. So there again, it's something that is still being worked on. So as I get updates, as I see updates, I'll inform you and let you know. But right now, it is time to talk about where the money at. Where the money at? If you're not familiar with what I'm doing right now, I every time we get through this stream, right after we talk about the main topics and the main things that I want to discuss, just to inform you on how the market is, the housing market, I bring you some time. I bring you some information to help you understand that there's money out there that you should be utilizing, or at least you should be informing yourself on a little bit more, so that you can go ahead and take advantage of it. Because if you don't take advantage of it, where is it going to go? It's going to go to either somebody else's pockets, or it's just going to stay within the business, and they're going to figure out how to get more money from all of us, right? So here's one with Wells Fargo. Right, it's a national one. Please read the fine print when you're looking at these stuff, right? Just because I'm exposing you to this information does not mean you should go run right to the source and see. You should definitely poke around, see what else is out there, and also see if this is even a fit for you. Because a lot of times you'll see a lot of these programs, they may not work with what your plans are. So if you're thinking about home, 10,000 grant, right? I for sure, right? So this is why I say read the fine print, because location requirements and income limits apply. So there's a threshold. Not everybody's going to be able to get something like this, but it's okay. No worries. I got some other stuff for you. Like for instance, let's see, because I'm in North Carolina, I'm gonna be selfish and put North Carolina in. We're gonna go ahead and go Wake County, right? So if you make over, let's just say 145, you probably won't qualify. No, I don't think you qualify for it, right? And then location wise, so where you live, maybe if I was zoom in, you guys can see this a little bit better. So where you live, so certain areas located within the metro areas listed below are eligible. So let's see. Charlotte is eligible, and they even put Raleigh on this list. Garbage. So looks like a lot of major markets. So if you're looking in a major market, there's money out there for you, and you got to make less than 145. And I'm assuming that's as a household, right? So if you're filing together, you and your partner, then I'm assuming they're gonna want 145 underneath. But these are all the markets as well that are participating in a program like this. So Atlanta, Georgia. In fact, if you click it, right, it tells you specifically where as well. So Atlanta, Sandy Springs, Alpharetta. What the heck does Alpharetta need this for? Man, please. Oh, that just disgusted me. Sorry for you, anybody that lives in Alpharetta, but I was just there not too long ago, and don't nobody need this. Alpharetta, okay. Oh man, that is disturbing. Oh man. All right, I'm moving on to the next one because I just got kind of pissed off there. If you're gonna allow funds, and the reason why, if you're gonna allow funds to be used, give it to the individuals that really need it. That's all. That's all. That's all. Wells Fargo. They know what they're doing. This is for those individuals that are in New York. So if you are, yes, I believe this is the New York one. Yeah. So if you're in New York looking to purchase and need some assistance, then you might want to look into this program here. Let's see. Okay, there are not going to tell us the requirements here, but you have the program's name. So again, if you need some more information on this program, then this is your best time and opportunity to reach out to me. Let me know. Again, link in the description. Fill out the form next to agent referral and let me know. Hey, I saw the program and yeah, I need parts, man. I need parts. In fact, it actually states it right here. So of course, if I zoom in, then you'll see. But why is not letting me zoom in? All right. So they're willing to give up to 30,000. It is a grant, which is good, right? Grants typically you don't pay back, but read the fine print, please. You can use it towards your down payment, closing costs, and you have to attend a home buyer counseling service. It looks like you got to be below the 80% of the area median income. So again, there's always going to be guideline stipulations that you have to adhere by before they go ahead and give you, what's free in this world. That's kind of how you have to look at it. Last one that I have in terms of money is the one in Indiana. So, where's the name of it? There's supposed to be two of them. Didn't tell me. That's fine. The one at least I wanted to share with you is in Indiana. In fact, I'll do this. I'll do you guys a solid right now because I just realized I can just share this website. You guys can go ahead and tap in, but I'm okay. I'm of course going to consistently feed you some more information that you can go ahead and look into to find these different programs. Look in the comments if you truly indeed want to go to this website and find out more about these programs that are available. But the one in Indiana, at least, is the first place program, and they're offering up to 6% of the purchase price for first time buyers. You have to use FHA or conventional, and your credit score has to be at 640 or above, which is pretty. I'm sure there's more guidelines, so definitely read the fine print there. And the beautiful thing, I think, if they're considering first time homebuyers, fun fact, if you did not participate, I mean buy or sell in real estate in the past 3 years, you're considered a first time buyer. Did you know that? Now you do. So yeah, every 3 years, if you don't do anything with real estate, you're considered a first time home buyer, and that's by federal law. Which, I mean, that literally if you play this game right, you can literally have down payment assistance. You can do X, Y, and the third. You can do a lot of different things, but of course, read the fine print because again, you got to make sure this stuff is in alignment with your strategy on what you're trying to do. But the next one for the Indiana down payment assistance is the next home program that first time buyers can get up to 3.5 of their home purchase. And it can be used with the FHA or conventional, very similar with a requirement of credit score of a 640. And it can be combined with another program that they have, which is pretty neat. Very similar to the North Carolina one, I will say. So you guys got all that I wanted to share with you today. Now I gotta answer questions because I had questions come through and I didn't do my people a solid. So the person that left the comment was SC-SH6UX. Don't tell me to pronounce that. I'll say I don't even know. It's not even a real word, but there was a comment she left or he left And it said right now my market is at 6.3 times the average salary. It was 5.48 in 2006 and dropped to 2.74 in 2012. How's my market, right? So we're talking specifically about, income ratios, so price to home income ratios. That's of course a lot of the conversations that are currently, I would say, not really being had, but when you talk about affordability, that is something that a lot of people like to use to compare. I'm not even sharing my screen. There we go. So if you look, I'll scroll back up. So home price to income ratios, right? So as this number increases, that means home prices are, going a little bit too high and income isn't following, which I think is a conversation that we already all know. And so if you really want to look, this map kind of just maps it all out. You can kind of see the darker it is, then the worse it is. In California, at no surprise. I'm surprised New York is not pretty dark. But I guess if you live in New York, you do make a good amount of money. And then Hawaii is another dark one. But the question was, how is my state? So let's go here and search Raleigh. Okay, so we're at a 5. So there's your answer. In 2004, Raleigh was at a 5.8. Okay, so you can see that has come down a bit, right? And incomes aren't. I don't think incomes are really dropping. If anything, I think home prices are really dropping, which is allowing this number to drop a little bit more. In 21, it was 5.5. Unfortunately, I don't know how this person was able to identify and get information back to 2006 because I only have up to 2001 here, which I probably can try to find it. But that answers your question. If you're watching this now, hope you are able to see this. Another question that came through from Mr. State 2568. His question was, it's a good time to buy. So I posed the question. I forgot. I think it was in my last stream. I'm curious. Like, when do you guys all think it's a good time to buy? Because my interpretation of a good time to buy, and this is not because I'm a real estate agent and I'm biased or whatever the case is, but I think personally the best time to buy, of course, when you can when you're ready, first and foremost, right? Starts with you first. But when there's not that much competition, because then you could really get the deals. Let everybody else freak out and go crazy and do all this stuff that doesn't make sense for them to realize, oh, why the heck did I do that? Right? While you sit back and relax and enjoy the show and in fact see it. So then when sellers actually are like, I have to sell this home, maybe it's the same people that went crazy. Because that's exactly what's happening right now. But my interpretation of the best time to buy is when there aren't as many people out there. Is when in fact most people are like, I'm not going to get into real estate because the stories and the things that we're doing today to help people get into homes. I mean, I forgot how much exactly, but there was someone who got like, oh man, they just bought a home and got like 30 grand worth of closing cost funds. I was just like, what in the world? Right. And that's gonna give you money to fix the home up. That's probably buying down the interest rate. That's probably just maybe or you pocket it, right? I don't know. You do whatever it is that you desire to do at that point in time, but you're not getting 30,000 worth of funds in during everybody's out there trying to buy at the same time. So that's my interpretation of when is a good time. So Mr. State 2568 mentioned it's a good time to buy when it's a buyer's market and you have enough money to handle the monthly mortgage, maintenance, and bills. That last part is, spot on. Like, don't try to get into anything and not be ready for it. Quite honestly, especially it's a responsibility at the end of the day that you have to incur. And if you're not ready for that, then hit the side road. Go on the sidewalk, right? Go on the sidewalk. Just wait for a little bit until your time has arrived, right? But again, when is a buyer's market? I'm asking you because I'm not giving you an answer just quite yet. You should know this. We talked about it literally today, and if you still can't answer that and have a good answer for me, Mm, we got issues. But if you didn't know the answer to it, that's fine. All right. Anytime inventory is above 6 months, that's when it's a buyer's market. Anything at 6 months is balanced. Anything above that is a buyer's market. How can you find that? Go to Redfin, look at your specific market, and go about it that way. So there was this post that came up that I would like to have a dialogue about because as I was reading this, I was like, man, I think a lot of people are still under the impression that arms are terrible. No money should use them. And when not actually your arm, my bad, an adjustable mortgage rate. I do think that people still believe that arms are the worst mortgages that you can get. But here, MG, the mortgage guy, actually made a thread, and I actually agree with him. But I only agree if you know what's going on. If you know what's going on, you know what you're doing, then yes, an arm makes sense. Only reason why is because now arms are going to be a little less than a fixed, right? And when I say fixed, I'm talking about a fixed mortgage rate. So let's say, for instance, I mean, we can just go and look at it right now. Quite honestly, go to Mortgage News Daily, and we can see exactly what arms are going to be. And there's different type of arms, so I don't know what SOFR is, but we're just gonna use it just because it says arm. So you guys can see, right? So you're looking at approximately, let's just say 7 for a fix, 30-year fix. Whereas if you're looking at an arm, you're looking at 6.3. And I'm just rounding that up. Let me go to Fannie's. Fannie Mae mortgage. I wonder if Fannie Mae is going to give me a better number that I can utilize. Hopefully, my Wi-Fi don't kick in. And okay, it's only going to tell me the 30 and 15 year. Boo-hoo. Whatever. But the whole gist of this is arms are going to be adjustable mortgage rates are going to be less than fixed, right? So when does it really make sense? Who here thinks that mortgage rates are still going to go up, right? That's really where I think the conversation really starts. If you think mortgage rates are still going to go up, then there's one or two things you can do. You can just go get it fixed right now, or you can continue to sit the sideline, right? If you get an arm, depending on what it is, right? And I love how he breaks down what an arm is because it's important to understand because there's like you'll see arms, it says a 5.5 or a 7.10 or 7.1. Like they just throw in these numbers just to confuse people. But I think the most common ones is kind of what he mentioned here, right? So if you see whatever numbers in the front, let's just say it's 5. I'm gonna use I think he let's use the 10.6, what he has used here, right? So the first number is how many years is it fixed? And then the following number is how often does it adjust? That adjustment period, you must know this because that's going to tell you how much it's going to change, right? Whether it's every year, every 5, every 6 months, as you mentioned right here. But that's all going to depend as well as far as what the bank is willing to do and allow and how they have their own programs, right? The mortgages. But understand that the first number is what is fixed, right? So if you get a mortgage today and you get it for 6.3, it's going to be fixed at 6.3 for the next 10 years. Then after that, it's going to adjust every 6 months, right? Based off of this example here, reading this right here. Okay. And this is for the people that are savvy, right? If you don't pay attention to mortgage rates, you can give two F's about what's going on with mortgages and real estate. You just want a home. Don't please save yourself the stress. Don't consider it. Only way I would say consider is if you have somebody that's literally going to be your raving fan to let you know, hey, this is what you need to do next, right? If you don't have somebody like that by your side and you're doing it all by yourself, keep it simple. go fix, so you don't have to think about it and worry about it. But if you pay attention to this stuff, then an arm could be beneficial, right? It's one of those things that can save you. I mean, honestly, thousands, tens of thousands of dollars over the course of a loan. And let's use this as an example. If you do get a 10-6 arm, right? So 10 years fixed, 6 years, 6 months. It adjusts for 6 months every. It adjusts every 6 months. I know for a fact most people don't stay in their homes for 10 years. It's literally a fact that's already out there. I mean, the number is literally. It was recently 7. It just recently jumped up to 10 during the pandemic, and now with everyone having mortgage rates sub 3 or even at 3, I think that number is going to rise. But for the most part, most people don't stay in one home for 10 years. So what do you think I'm about to tell you now? If you're thinking about getting an arm and you have a 10-year fix, looks like just before that arm goes, maybe if you don't want to deal with the adjustments too, looks like just before that arm is about to change, you go ahead and put that home on the market, sell it, you take the profit and you go do it. You go do the same thing over somewhere else, or you go get a fix. But again, that's going to require you to purchase properly, right? Most of the times in real estate, remember this: you make money on the buy, not the sell. Remember that. That's something you don't really hear at all. But he's really just talking about now at this point. He's kind of breaking down a little bit what we discussed already in regards to arms. In my opinion, arm is not, and I'm not talking about my arm again. Come on, an adjustable mortgage rate, right? That is beneficial if, in my opinion, if you know what you're looking at, you know what you're doing, you keep track of the financial markets, you like to understand, or you follow it a little bit more. And if you don't follow it, do you have somebody that follows it that you can lean on and kind of, tap on the shoulder, or they can tap you on the shoulder when to make a change? I do that for plenty of people in my close immediate friends and family, right? Those individuals that I know have arms, I tell them all the time, and we're in conversation consistently, because I'll let them know when the opportunity arises. Hey, go refinance, go do whatever you got to do to get out of that arm, to make it a little bit more feasible for you, so you don't have to worry about the fluctuation of things. But if you don't have that person, you can reach out to me and I can help you. That's your only other advice, or at least your only other option, if that's the case. But I would definitely encourage, you know, arms is only for those. Adjustable mortgage rates are for those that really are savvy and pay attention and want to. Because if you don't want to do this, you're not going to do this for the longevity of time. And who knows when rates are going to really make that change. Here are some pros, right? So lower starter rate, as I mentioned, right, is going to make your payment a little bit lower, as we were able to see earlier. But we had the fixed rates were at a 7, and the adjustable rates were at a 6.3, right? So it's great for short term and midterm ownership, which a lot of people don't stay in their homes for 10 years. So again, that 10 years is probably a bad example, because there's also a 5-year fix and there's also a 7-year fix. It all depends on the mortgage, the lender that you're using, and the mortgage product that you ultimately choose. This is for high income earners. I think it's really for anybody that knows exactly what the heck they're doing. Ideal for house hackers, those really investors, or really could be for anybody. But here are the cons, right? This is the stuff that I think really pay attention to, right? If you don't refinance before the fixed period ends and rates are high, this is exactly what's going to happen. You are going to explode, literally. You're going to be pissed off, shocked. You're going to probably hate me. Ronnie, why'd you even expose me to adjustable mortgage rates? I told you, if you don't follow this stuff, don't do it. Please don't do it. One goes in and we all go through it. You know who that is. Hopefully I don't get, yeah, I shouldn't get it. But payment shock, right? So of course, if rates go up, then that means that's going to directly impact your payments. So that's not going to look good, especially if you're an investor. That's going to really hurt you. But that's why paying attention and understanding when to refinance is very important. And the thing is this: if you're going to refinance, you still have to go through the entire process of them running your credit, making sure your income is good, making sure you still have your job, and doing all that. And you're gonna have costs to it, which you can either pay them or roll it into the mortgage. Most people just roll it into the mortgage and go about it that way, right? And then, of course, I don't understand what he means by bad strategy. He goes, "You're stuck with a ballooning payment." Okay, so yeah, kind of mentioned as the rates go up, you're just gonna have to deal with a larger payment. So that's why, yeah, I think he nails it at this point, and I think this is where I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. If there's no questions that do come through in the meantime, but this is why an adjustable mortgage rate are for users that understand, is willing to follow. Right, I don't think there's a terrible thing. I understand a lot of people got screwed over in 2008, but that was just literally at that point in time. That was just people getting taken advantage of in general, not necessarily understanding and knowing what was actually occurring or going on. But if you have a plan, you understand what you're going to do. You're not just, fooling around per se. Then you can use an arm, especially with rates, right, being between that 6 and 7 point for literally the past couple of years, right? Rates aren't really doing much, and if they go any higher, I don't really see them going any higher than 7, 8. I think at that point in time, now we have real big problems if we see the mortgage rates go into the sevens, or and not even the sevens, because we've seen them go already into the sevens, more or less. I would say the eights. That's when I think you could definitely see some bigger issues in the world, right? And especially in real estate. But with all that being said, man, I went through everything I wanted to go through today. Hope you guys got some value out of it. Let me know in the comments where you guys are tapping in from, so I can provide you with some value and with for your local market specifically. If you guys do have any questions, please leave them on the comments, and let me know if you tapped in on the replay so that I know who's here. And when you show up live, we could react a little differently. Not only react different, we can engage with each other a little differently. Not that kind of way, guys. Relax, relax, relax. But don't forget, I'm here to really help you guys understand what's going on in the real estate market. Here to give you some tools, here to give you some advice, guidance, or something that you can take away from this to apply to what your first time home buyer experience or your home buying experience is going to be in general. If you do have any questions, concerns, or anything, I do videos every week, and just tap into one of those. If I don't answer a question there, just go to my website. I always, every single video, whether it's a live stream or video, go into the description. You'll see right next to agent referral, there's a link there. Click that link. Don't be afraid. Click it, and then just go to the website, and it's gonna be my website. It's all the information comes directly to me. Nobody else sees this stuff. And then you're gonna go ahead and see let's chat, or you're gonna maybe even see at the top right, it's gonna say contact. I could tell you verbatim what my website look like. You know what I mean? Uh, but yeah, just fill out that entire form. That way, I do get notified, and I can reach out to you, and we can see how we could better help you, and make sure you do get a home. Because I saw a stat the other day, and I'll share it here, maybe in a couple days or a week or so, of like it was a survey done, and I'm gonna wrap up after this one, but it was a survey done of renters stay in the I'm trying to remember exactly. It was a survey done, and the survey said what's the probability of these renters believing that they can purchase a home. And I mean, we're talking that thing was on a straight decline. I said, man, that's not good at all. But I'll end on that note. Don't fall in that don't fall in that statistic. There is an opportunity. There is something out there for you. You just got to put the work in. And that work could be, it could take years. It can be frustrating. It is probably going to be frustrating. But trust me, there's an opportunity. There's space out there for you to go ahead and take a piece of the land and be able to pass this down, or do whatever it is that you want to do. Maybe you want to ride the home equity game up, and be able to sell for a profit, to go ahead and level up your home, or whatever the case is. But there's an opportunity. That's really what I'm trying to say here. You just got to put that work in to get there. But with all that, peace out. I'm out of here. Y'all stay blessed. Be safe. Don't do anything I wouldn't do.